Welcome to English Power Shift Podcast. Today's topic is, why is it so hard to enjoy the present? I think my brain hates me.
What happened?
Yesterday, I finally had some free time. No work, no meetings, no deadlines, nothing. So I sat on the couch and said, okay, I'm going to enjoy this.
Sounds nice.
It was, for about 30 seconds.
What happened after 30 seconds?
My brain started talking.
Oh, no.
Did you answer that email? What are you doing tomorrow? What if that thing doesn't work out? And then for absolutely no reason, remember that stupid thing you said in front of everyone 3 years ago?
No.
Yes!
Why does our brain remember things we desperately want to forget?
I have no idea. But here's the funny part. I was trying to relax and somehow ended up planning my future, worrying about my problems, and regretting my past, all while sitting on the same couch.
So you weren't relaxing.
No, I was basically working overtime inside my own head.
That's actually a perfect description of modern life.
Exactly. We're always thinking about what happened, what's going to happen, what we should do next. And somehow, the one thing we forget to do is actually be here.
Be present.
Exactly. So why is something as simple as enjoying the present moment actually so difficult?
What if we keep waiting for later and forget that we're already living now?
And why is it so hard to enjoy the present?
That's exactly what we're talking about today.
Hello, English learners. Welcome back to the English Power Shift Podcast, the place where you improve your English through real conversations, useful vocabulary, and ideas that can help you build a better life. I'm Emma.
And I'm Adam, and if you've ever found yourself worrying about tomorrow while you're supposed to be relaxing today, this episode is definitely for you.
Because honestly, I think most of us do this. We finish a long day, we finally get some free time, and instead of enjoying it, our brain opens 17 new tabs.
And none of them are useful.
Exactly. One tab is about tomorrow, one is about money, one is about work, one is about something embarrassing from 5 years ago.
And somehow, one tab is just a random song you haven't heard since high school.
Exactly.
So today we're going to explore why it's so difficult to stay in the present, why our minds constantly travel between the past and the future, and how we can become better at actually experiencing our lives.
And before we get started, we have something special for you. We've prepared a completely free PDF to help you get even more out of this episode.
Inside the PDF, you'll find the full podcast script, all the useful vocabulary and expressions from today's conversation, plus practical exercises that will help you review what you learn and actually use it in English.
So you won't just listen to this episode and forget most of what you learned. You can come back to the PDF, review the vocabulary, practice the exercises, and use the conversation to improve your English step by step.
And the best part? It's completely free.
Yes! You can find the link to the PDF in the description below this video, so make sure you check it out. And honestly, if you're serious about improving your English, we really recommend staying with us until the end of the episode, because the more you listen, understand, review, and practice, the more you'll get out of this lesson.
Exactly. Don't just watch this episode, use it. Listen to the conversation, pay attention to the expressions, notice how we use them naturally, and then use the free PDF to practice everything you've learned.
That way, you're not just learning English for a few minutes, you're actually building English that you can remember and use.
So, are you ready?
Let's get into it.
And as always, you'll learn useful English expressions naturally through the conversation.
Let's begin.
Okay, Emma, let's start with something really simple. When we say be present, what do we actually mean?
I think we mean being mentally where your body already is.
That sounds obvious.
It does, but think about how often that isn't true. You can be sitting at your desk, but mentally, you're already thinking about tonight. You can be having dinner, but thinking about tomorrow's responsibilities. You can be talking to a friend, but thinking about a problem at work.
Or you can be watching a movie and suddenly you're thinking about money.
Exactly. You're physically in one place, but mentally you're somewhere completely different.
I've noticed this happens to me a lot when I'm walking. I'll walk for 20 minutes, and when I arrive, I realize I barely noticed the walk.
That's such a good example. You were walking, but you weren't really experiencing the walk.
Because my mind was busy.
Right. And that's one of the strange things about the human mind. It doesn't like sitting still. It constantly wants to think about something.
Why?
Because thinking is useful. Our minds help us plan. They help us remember. They help us solve problems. They help us prepare for danger. The ability to think about the future is actually one of our strengths.
So thinking about the past and future isn't the problem.
Exactly. The problem is when we lose control of where our attention goes.
So there's a difference between thinking about tomorrow because you need to prepare and thinking about tomorrow for 2 hours because you're imagining every possible disaster.
Exactly. One is planning, the other is worrying.
And there's a difference between remembering the past because you want to learn from it and replaying the past because you can't stop asking yourself what you should have done differently.
That's an important distinction. Reflection can help you. Rumination can trap you.
Let's explain that word, rumination.
Rumination is when your mind keeps returning to the same thought, especially a negative one, again and again. You don't really move forward, you just replay.
Like watching the same scene over and over.
Exactly. Maybe you made a mistake at work, you go home, you think about it, then you think about it again while you're eating, then again before bed, and suddenly your brain says, let's analyze this one more time.
And somehow you believe the 10th analysis will finally solve it.
Exactly. But sometimes there is nothing left to solve. You've already learned what you needed to learn. You just haven't learned how to let the thought go.
That's difficult.
Very. Because we often confuse thinking with solving.
That's good. Just because you're thinking about a problem doesn't mean you're solving it.
Exactly. You can think about the same problem for 3 hours and make zero progress. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is step away from it. Take a walk, sleep, talk to someone, do something else.
And come back later with a clearer mind.
Yes, because your attention is limited. If you spend all day worrying about yesterday and tomorrow, you have very little attention left for today.
Which is probably why we sometimes finish a whole day and feel like we weren't really there.
Exactly. And that's a sad feeling. Because you were there, you just weren't paying attention to your own life.
Wow. So maybe being present isn't about having no thoughts.
Not at all. It's about noticing where your attention is and deciding whether you want to bring it back.
Back to what?
Back to whatever you're actually doing. If you're eating, eat. If you're listening, listen. If you're walking, walk. If you're resting, rest.
One thing at a time.
Exactly. And that sounds simple, but in a world that constantly demands our attention, it's becoming a real skill.
There's another reason I think we struggle with the present. We're always waiting for something.
Yes. And sometimes we don't even realize we're doing it.
We tell ourselves, I'll relax after I finish this.
I'll be happy when I get that job.
I'll enjoy life when I have more money.
I'll finally slow down when things become easier.
I'll travel when I have enough time.
I'll take care of myself when I'm less busy.
And then?
Then, life keeps moving. You finish one thing, and another thing appears. You reach one goal, and immediately create another.
So the finish line keeps moving.
Exactly. And goals aren't bad. Ambition isn't bad. Wanting to improve your life isn't bad. The problem is when you make your happiness conditional.
Meaning?
Meaning you tell yourself, I can enjoy my life only if something outside me changes.
That's powerful.
Think about someone who says, when I lose 10 kilos, I'll finally feel confident. Or, when I earn more money, I'll finally relax. Or, when I meet the right person, I'll finally be happy.
Maybe those things improve their life, but if they don't learn how to appreciate the present, they may reach the goal and still feel empty.
Because the mind just creates another problem.
Exactly. You lose the weight, then you worry about keeping it off. You get the money, then you worry about losing it. You get the relationship, then you worry about whether it will last.
So the future keeps becoming the place where happiness is supposed to happen.
Yes, and that's dangerous because the future is always moving. There's always another later.
Exactly. And eventually you might look back and realize, I spent years preparing to live instead of actually living.
That's a painful thought.
It is. But I don't think the answer is to stop planning.
Right. We still need goals. We still need to work. We still need to save money. We still need to think about tomorrow.
Of course. The goal isn't to stop caring about the future. The goal is to stop sacrificing every present moment for it.
That's the difference.
Exactly. You can work toward a better future while still allowing yourself to enjoy today. You can want a bigger house and still appreciate the home you have. You can want a better job and still enjoy the people you work with. You can want to improve your English and still be proud of the English you already speak.
I really like that last one because learners often do this. They say, my English isn't good enough yet.
Exactly. And because they're focused on the level they haven't reached, they forget to notice how much they've already improved.
So progress itself can become something we fail to enjoy.
Yes. Imagine learning English for 6 months. You understand much more than you did before. You can have conversations. You can understand videos. But instead of celebrating that progress, you think, I'm still not fluent.
And suddenly, your achievement becomes another reason to feel disappointed.
Exactly. Sometimes we need to learn how to appreciate the process, not just the result.
Because most of life is process.
Exactly. You spend far more time traveling toward a goal than standing at the goal. So if you hate the journey, you're going to hate most of the experience.
That's a huge lesson.
And it applies to almost everything. Your career, your education, your relationships, your health, your personal growth. You can't spend 5 years saying, I'll enjoy it when I finally arrive. Because what if you never feel like you arrived?
Then you've missed 5 years.
Exactly. And that's why the present matters. Not because the future doesn't matter, but because the future is made for moments like this one.
Okay. We've talked about our minds, but I think modern life makes this problem even worse.
Absolutely. Because our attention is constantly being pulled in different directions.
Our phones, notifications, emails, messages, social media, news, videos, podcasts, ads. Everything wants a piece of our attention.
Exactly. And our phones are amazing tools, but they also make distraction incredibly easy.
You don't even have to make an effort anymore.
Right. You're waiting for your coffee? Phone. You're standing in line? Phone. You're bored for 10 seconds? Phone. You wake up? Phone. You go to bed? Phone.
And sometimes you don't even know why you're checking it.
That's the strange part. You pick it up without having a specific reason. You open one app, then another, and 10 minutes disappear.
And you don't necessarily feel better afterward.
Exactly. You just feel more stimulated.
That's an important word, stimulated.
It means your brain is receiving a lot of activity or information, and modern life gives us an enormous amount of stimulation.
Which might explain why silence feels uncomfortable.
Exactly. Imagine sitting in a room with no music, no phone, no television, just silence. For some people, that feels almost unbearable.
Because the mind immediately starts talking.
Yes, and instead of sitting with our thoughts, we reach for something to distract ourselves.
Maybe that's why we're uncomfortable with boredom.
I think so, but boredom isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes boredom gives your mind space. You can think, you can notice your surroundings, you can daydream, you can simply rest.
But we're constantly filling those spaces.
Exactly. And there's another problem, multitasking.
Oh yes, we are proud of multitasking.
We say, I'm good at multitasking, but often what we're really doing is switching between tasks.
Checking an email while listening to someone.
Eating while watching a video.
Working while answering messages.
Studying while checking social media.
And every time we switch, our attention has to move.
Exactly. And when your attention is constantly moving, it's hard to settle into anything.
Which means even enjoyable things can become less enjoyable.
Yes. Imagine you're watching a beautiful sunset, but every 30 seconds you're checking your phone. You're technically watching the sunset, but part of your mind is somewhere else.
So we don't just need more free time.
Exactly. We need better attention.
That's interesting. Someone can have 2 free hours, but if they're constantly distracted, they may enjoy those 2 hours less than someone who has 20 minutes of focused relaxation.
Exactly. That's why protecting your attention is so important.
So what can we do?
Start small. You don't need to throw your phone away and move to a mountain.
Good, because I'm not ready for that.
Neither am I. Instead, create small moments of undistracted time. Eat one meal without your phone. Take a 10-minute walk without headphones. Drink your coffee without scrolling. Sit outside for 5 minutes. Have a conversation without checking notifications.
That sounds manageable.
And the more you practice, the more comfortable you become with simply being there.
So maybe we're not losing the ability to enjoy the present.
Maybe we're just giving our attention away too easily.
And if attention is the doorway to experience, then we need to protect that doorway.
Exactly.
Okay, this is probably the question everyone is waiting for. How do we actually do it? How do we become better at enjoying the present?
I think the first thing is to stop trying to become a completely different person overnight.
So, no dramatic life transformation.
No. Start with tiny changes. The first one is simple. Notice.
Notice what?
Notice when you've left the present. You're having dinner, and suddenly you're thinking about tomorrow. Notice. You're working, and suddenly you're replaying an argument from yesterday. Notice. You're talking to someone, and suddenly you're thinking about your phone. Notice.
And don't judge yourself?
Exactly. That's important. Don't say, I'm terrible at this. Just say, oh, my attention wandered.
That's much kinder.
And much more useful, because your mind will wander. That's normal. The skill isn't keeping your attention perfectly focused forever. The skill is bringing it back.
Again and again.
Exactly. Notice, return. Notice, return. That's the practice.
What's the second thing?
Use your senses.
We talked about that earlier.
Yes, because it's incredibly effective. When your mind is somewhere else, your senses can bring you back. Look around. What can you see? Listen. What can you hear? Feel. What is your body experiencing? Notice the temperature. Notice the chair beneath you. Notice your feet touching the ground.
So instead of living inside our thoughts, we reconnect with the physical world.
Exactly. Your thoughts can take you anywhere. Your senses bring you back to where you actually are.
I like that.
And here's another one. Do one thing at a time.
That's becoming a theme.
Because it's so important. If you're eating, eat. Don't automatically turn every meal into entertainment. If you're walking, walk. Look around. If someone is talking to you, listen. Don't prepare your reply while they're still speaking.
That's harder than it sounds.
It is, but it's a beautiful way to show people that they matter. Your attention is one of the most valuable things you can give someone.
That's true.
And there's another thing we should talk about. Rest.
Yes, because people often don't know how to rest anymore.
Exactly. They finish work and immediately look for stimulation. They feel guilty for doing nothing, but rest doesn't have to be productive.
You don't need to read a book while drinking tea. You don't need to listen to a podcast while walking. You don't need to watch something while eating.
Exactly. Sometimes you can simply sit, and at first it might feel uncomfortable. That's okay. You're teaching your brain that silence is safe.
That's powerful.
And finally, allow the present moment to be imperfect.
Explain that.
Sometimes people think, I'll enjoy today when today is good. But that's not really enjoying the present. That's enjoying perfect circumstances.
And perfect circumstances don't happen very often.
Exactly. You can have a bad morning and still enjoy your coffee. You can have problems and still laugh with a friend. You can be tired and still appreciate the quiet. You can be uncertain about the future and still enjoy today's sunset.
So presence isn't about pretending everything is okay.
No, it's about saying, this is what is happening right now and allowing yourself to experience it.
Even if it's not perfect.
Especially then, because if you only allow yourself to enjoy life when everything is perfect, you won't have many opportunities.
That's probably one of the biggest lessons from this entire episode.
I think so.
You know what I've been thinking about throughout this whole conversation?
What?
Maybe the reason we struggle so much with the present is because we're always trying to escape it.
That's interesting.
We escape into the past. We escape into the future. We escape into our phones. We escape into entertainment. We escape into work. Sometimes we're physically in our lives, but mentally somewhere else.
And I think there's a reason for that. The present isn't always comfortable.
True. The present contains uncertainty. It contains boredom. It contains difficult emotions. It contains things we can't control.
Exactly. The future can feel easier because it's imaginary. We can imagine a perfect future, a future where everything finally works out.
And the past can feel attractive because we can replay it, even if we can't change it.
But the present is real, and reality isn't always comfortable.
So maybe being present requires courage.
I think it does, because you're saying, I'm willing to experience this moment instead of immediately escaping from it.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
And sometimes you'll discover that the moment wasn't as bad as you thought. Maybe you were just tired. Maybe you needed a break. Maybe you needed to talk to someone. Maybe you needed to stop thinking for 5 minutes.
Or maybe you simply needed to look around.
Exactly, because there are probably many small moments in our lives that we don't fully experience.
A meal, a conversation, a walk, a laugh, a quiet morning, a message from someone we love.
And the strange thing is, we often realize how valuable those moments were only after they've passed.
Why do we do that?
Maybe because we're always looking for something bigger. We think important moments have to be dramatic. But life is mostly ordinary.
And ordinary doesn't mean meaningless.
Exactly. An ordinary Tuesday can still be part of a beautiful life. A boring morning can still contain peace. A simple conversation can become a memory you'll keep for years.
That's why attention matters.
Yes, because you can't appreciate what you don't notice.
That's probably the sentence I would remember from this episode.
Me too. You can't appreciate what you don't notice.
And maybe that's the real problem. We don't necessarily need a more exciting life. Maybe we need to become better at noticing the life we already have.
Exactly. And that doesn't mean giving up on your goals. Please don't misunderstand this. You can still dream. You can still work hard. You can still want more. You can still build a better future.
But don't make the future the price you pay for the present.
Wow. Yes, that's exactly it. Don't sacrifice every good moment today just because you're trying to create a better tomorrow.
Because tomorrow isn't guaranteed.
And yesterday isn't available anymore.
Which leaves us with
Today.
right now.
This moment.
So let's make this practical.
Okay. Here's a small challenge for everyone listening. For the next 24 hours, choose one ordinary moment. It could be your morning coffee, your lunch, your walk home, your shower, your evening with your family.
And for those few minutes, put your phone away.
Don't multitask. Don't try to make the moment more exciting. Just experience it.
Notice what you see.
Notice what you hear.
Notice what you feel.
Notice what your mind is doing.
And when your attention wanders, bring it back.
No judgment.
No pressure.
Just come back.
And maybe you'll discover something.
Maybe the present moment wasn't boring. Maybe you were just somewhere else.
Maybe your life isn't waiting to begin.
Maybe it's already happening.
Right now.
And maybe that's the whole point. You don't need to wait until everything is perfect. You don't need to become a completely different person. You don't need to reach the next goal first. You don't need a better phone, a better job, a bigger house, or a more exciting life before you allow yourself to appreciate something.
You can start with one moment.
One conversation, one meal, one walk, one breath, one ordinary evening.
And that's enough to practice being here.
Exactly. Because the present doesn't ask you to have everything figured out. It only asks you to notice that you're here.
All right, English learners. Before we finish, let's review some of the most useful vocabulary and expressions from today's conversation.
And remember, don't just listen. Try to repeat these expressions out loud.
First, to be present, to be mentally focused on what is happening right now. For example, I want to be more present when I spend time with my family.
Next, to pay attention, to focus carefully on something. Pay attention to how native speakers pronounce this expression.
Another important word, rumination. This means repeatedly thinking about the same negative thoughts without solving the problem.
Then we have to postpone, to delay something until a later time. Don't postpone your happiness until the future.
Another useful expression, to wander. When your mind wanders, your attention moves away from what you're doing. My mind wandered during the meeting.
And to bring your attention back. This means returning your focus to what you're doing. When your mind wanders, gently bring your attention back.
And finally, to take something for granted. This means failing to appreciate something because you have become used to having it.
That's a very important one. Sometimes we take ordinary moments for granted until we realize how valuable they were.
And remember, there are many more useful words and expressions in today's episode.
That's why we've prepared the free PDF for you. You'll find the full script, vocabulary, explanations, and exercises inside.
And the link is in the description.
So, Adam, after everything we've talked about, what are you going to do tonight?
I'm gonna make a cup of tea and actually drink it without my phone.
That's a good start. What about you? I'm going to sit on the couch, and if my brain starts opening 17 tabs, I'll remind it. Not right now.
I like that.
Because not every thought needs your attention. Not every problem needs to be solved today, and not every free moment needs to become productive.
Sometimes you can simply be there.
Exactly. And that's what we want you to remember from today's episode. You don't need to escape your life to enjoy it. You don't need to wait for a better future. You don't need perfect circumstances. Sometimes you just need to come back to the moment you're already living.
So look around, listen, pay attention, and notice what's already there.
Because you can't appreciate what you don't notice.
And you don't have to wait for later.
You can start now.
Right now.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us. And if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the English Power Shift podcast.
And remember to check out the free PDF in the description.
It has the full script, useful vocabulary, explanations, and exercises to help you turn today's episode into real English practice.
Don't just listen, practice, repeat, review, and use what you learn.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Take care, everyone.
And remember, don't wait for a better moment.
Be here for this one.
Bye.